Okay, this is IBA revenue projections. Okay, our objective is to forecast revenue for your project for 5 years beyond the last historic data that you have. And this presentation reviews 3 methods. We'll look at a top-down approach, build-up method, regression, or line estimation. And you'll need to prepare revenue projections for 2 methods, okay, for 2 of these 3. You'll project revenue, then you'll choose one and go forward to prepare your financial statements with that, okay? So you'll look at 2, you pick out the one that you like the best, and then you go forward with that. See, revenue drives all of your costs. So everything on the forecast is derived from the projected revenue. So the first one we'll look at is a top-down financial forecast, and this is also known as the breakdown method. And this looks at the overall market and uses that information to identify like company demographics and a target market, and assumes that the existing market, whatever the market is forecasting for growth, okay, what industry and trade information is saying, that is what will apply to your company, that you can expect to capture a certain percentage of the market in year 1 with successive increases in the years that follow. Okay, sometimes these forecasts are overly optimistic. They're good for large companies that are well aligned with an industry, but that doesn't mean that it's full of baloney. You know what I mean? It's still a good reference point. And here's an example of, let's say that our company has 10 years worth of history here that's amazingly a really smooth line, and the industry is expecting an increase of 3%, okay, in growth. So these 2 years here, that's years 9 and 10. This is actual, and then our forecast is going right off the chart here. It's going way up at 3% a year. So, you know, that might not actually be a good number for us, but at least it gives you an idea that that's what it looks like. Okay? So you would take the years that was actual and multiply that times 1.03, and that would be your revenue for the next year times 1.03, etc. Okay? Now, the build-up method adds revenue expected from each action plan chosen to the previous year's sales. And what we do is we use like the current year's actual sales, or say their experience percentages in their base revenue. Okay, and we call that a base, and then we add the impact of the action plans. Now here's an example of this. This is years 1 through 10. These are actual numbers here. And then our base revenue forecast sort of continues right on from there. This is slowly increased over the year. These are the increased percentages from the last 5 years. So, you know, so we took 1% and thought, yeah, you know, you could take an average maybe, but given the economy or whatever, you might have some assumptions that 1% is a good number. And that becomes our base revenue here. Okay, and I took these forecasted numbers and I put them down here and like a revenue chart. That's my base. And then just for an example, let's pretend that we've got a marketing action plan, and this is our estimated revenue from it. A couple years later, we want the company to roll out a new product that'll start in 2022. And then in our last great idea was to open up a second location. And this we expect revenue to begin in 2023 and then build for a while after that. Now, what's nice about this is that you've got your base revenue. This is where the company is now in effect, and this would be the effect of your action plans on revenue. Okay, so this is appropriately named the build-up method. Okay. The other way to do it is to use like regression or line estimation. We're really doing least squares here, and that's useful if you have at least 10 years of data. Action plans are not included in the projection. Okay, in this example, the data are a little bit more realistic. Now here is that data that I used before. This is how it actually came out. And here's a scatter plot of it. Okay, so there's your 1, your 2, your 3, your 4, your 5, your 6, your 7, your 8. This is the actual line. This is what it looks like. So it's like, oh boy, you know, what am I going to forecast this as? What would this be? And because you're actually fitting a line between these points. Okay, so this is what the what LineEst came up with. That's the function. The intercept is 26,352. Okay, and then the dependent, we're going to add another, say, 34 units for each year. So at that, this is what LineEst looks like. Let me go over, let's see if we can. Here's the graph, the actual graph, and what I did was, I want to bring this to the top. We could sort of fit it on here, okay? That's what the line comes up as. So you can see that's what least square has done for this. It's a little bit hard to see because the scale is different, okay? But it more or less fits on these things. That's 26.4, so right around there. I don't know, it's pretty tricky. You really need decent data to be able to use this, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so those are our 3 projections, 3 different methods. Keep it simple, okay? You're going to prepare 2 revenue projections, okay? And then choose one and go forward. That's the task. Okay,